Parents with children with multiple disabilities, they demonstrated their happiness and their enthusiasm because of the support they were given by the Obume Community Center. These parents are given different services here in Obume Community Center, and one of these services is known as physiotherapy. This service has brought a huge impact in these children's lives. Parents who are given these services are quite many. Some of these parents do face different difficulties within their lives. Things have become worse all over the world when COVID-19 has fallen all over the world. Different businesses, different staffs got stuck during this moment of COVID-19. The Women Community Center that deals with people with disabilities started to approach these families and these kids in a special way. So here are the testimonies of the different families and different parents after they were given all the support. Thank you so much. My name is Hishamunda Esther. I'm coming from Bohaza Cell. The village is Murambi, Rubavu sector. So I was happy when they called me. Life here outside is not easy. It's really complicated because it's not promising that you're going to have dinner, or you can have dinner but you don't know if you're going to have lunch tomorrow. That's an example. But right now they've given us like food, they've given us milk. Our children are going to be drinking milk and so forth. They will be eating porridge. Sometimes it's quite hard to get even sugar to put in the porridge so that these kids can enjoy their drink or their food. But now our kids will now spend like more days when they are happy, when they are really healthy. My name is Uwamahoro Zawad. I come from Rugerero sector. The village is Kiloj and Gwaza is the cell. I'm overwhelmed when they called me when I got here. I wasn't expecting this. I can't measure the happiness that I have in my heart, but I'm really happy. I'm really happy for this. My name is Wedding Manil Defonse. I live in Rugerero sector. The cell is Kabirizi. The village is Amahoro. I'm overwhelmed too. I'm really happy because when they called me, I had gone to do my jobs. So when they called me, I was really happy to hear a call that is positive in my ears. So I became hopeful. So I would like to thank these leaders and these people who do take care of our kids, and they really give them their time. They leave whatever they should be doing, but they focus on our kids. So we have nothing to pay in return, but we thank them. May God bless them. May God increase the heart they have and this heart of giving and this heart of supporting, and we hope much in the future. So I would like to thank the leader of this center and to all people who are working together in order to have a life that is sustainable for our kids and for our families. Thank you so much and God bless you. My name is Fraha Janine. I do come from Bushengo village. The cell is Gikong. I'm overwhelmed by this action that these people have done to us. So I'm really hopeful and I'm really happy about this. They've given us what we didn't have at home, and even though we deserved it, but we do pray that God may continue to bless them. My name is Akingene Aisha. I'm coming from Bushengo, the cells Kikong. I'm happy and I pray that God may continue to increase and more and more and more and fill their hearts, and we are so happy. People who do work in this center in order to ensure a sustainable life within these kids. So they do testify that these kids during these difficult moments, they really had enough food that contains all vitamins. And this is one of the ways that would help these kids to grow well and to have a healthy life. Wamahoro Yvonne is one of the people that do take care of these kids here at the center. She's in charge of one of the services here at the center, which is known as physiotherapy. This is what she said. This is a powerful and wonderful action. So within this moment where people do have nothing to eat and jobless, things like that. So we think more and we ask ourselves if these people who are much more healthier have nothing to eat, what about these unhealthy people that we do have, that we live together? Because we live with them, so that's why we always consider them first. If you don't eat well, so you don't grow well. These kids have to get enough food, and they have to get the healthiest food in order for them to grow well and have a healthy life. So if you don't provide enough food or healthy food, it means that you are reducing his days of life. It's much more important for a disability, for a person with disabilities, to have enough food and to have it at the right time. This is why we do encourage people in our neighborhoods to work hand in hand in order to ensure a better life for these kids, because if we don't do that, they will have no future. Yeah, that's good, and that's true that all these services are formed here in Bume Community Center. But again, we wanted to have like a clarification of different testimonies of different people, different families, parents that do bring their kids here at Bume Community Center. So what they have all of them in common is the welcoming, love, and to be treasured here in Bume Community Center.
Serivisi nziza aranyandika baranyakira bangira inama.
So when I got here at Umwe Community Center, they received me and they gave me different advices. So they gave me a program and they asked me to be bringing him for the kinotherapy here at the center. Major service they do give my son here at Umwe Community Center is kinotherapy. So when I brought him, at first he was not able to sit, he was not able to walk, he wasn't able to do anything else. But today there is some changes. Me as a parent as well, I'm supposed to take care of him and to bring him over for kinotherapy and to be there for him, stuff like that. The major service they do give to my son here at UCC, Bume Community Center, is kinotherapy. Since I brought him here at Bume Community Center, this is now the 4th year, so there is a huge change in his life. Whenever I look at him, I can really see the changes. I used to call him but couldn't respond. He couldn't know even that I'm calling him. But now when I call him, he turns and looks at me. So whenever I'm talking to him, he turns to me and he hears. So those are some of the changes in his life. And whenever he's in the bed, he can change positions by himself. It's good, and I'm really happy for that. Even though they do give us different services, but kinotherapy remains the major one. I was lonely before I brought here my kid. Because of my kid, I was hopeless and I was lonely. I was in a sad moment. But when I brought my son here at UCC Bume Community Center, things started to change in my life. First of all, when I got here, I brought my kid, but also myself. I needed some help, like different advices, They started to mentor me and to show me how much this is not a problem that I do have alone. There are other people that we do share the same problems. So they continued to help us with mentoring and to give us all that we needed. So our lives are changing. Because of the pain that I had in my heart, I couldn't even appear where other kids are and to see them playing all around. But now I can go out and I can bring my son outside. When I got here, I really recognized that I was not the only person who had this issue or who had this kind of problem alone. Whenever I could come here in the kinotherapy center, so I could see the progress of the service, of the kinotherapy service here within my kid's life, and I was really happy for that. And I myself also, I started to become hopeful. So when I bring him back home, I could put him on the bed and He could change positions by himself. He could, shake himself, and some of the times he could even fall down from the bed, and that would make me happy because would show me like there are some changes. He can move, he can change positions by himself. He's not televised enough in order to stand by himself, but he can find support on you, on me, on something or around, and he can move. He is supporting himself on something around him. So they gave us different advice of how we can handle these kids whenever they're with us at home. It's now 1 year to bring my son here in the Therapy center. So he was born weak and he could not even speak because he looked tired. But now today he can try to speak. He could not sit, but today he can even crawl. He can hear whenever I tell him something, even though he cannot speak, but he can hear. But also something that I really appreciate much more is that he crawls down. So I was encouraged when I got here at the center, when I saw different kids that do have different, disabilities, like my son. So I can now love my son. I can, do whatever I should be doing for him. My son has a problem of the vertebral column. He could not sit upright and he could not touch anything. He could not hold anything within his hands. He had a vertebral column problem, like whenever we could even wave to him, he couldn't wave. But since he got here, so now he can try to wave. He can keep his hands up for a couple minutes, but he can wave to you back. And I'm really thankful to God for what he's doing. My kid is 1 year and a half. He could not walk. That's why I brought him here so that they can help him and teach him how he can walk by himself. So he had not spent long time here as others do, but I can see some changes. So I do pray to God that God may continue to encourage these people who do take care of them. For instance, my son could not take anything into his mouth. That means he couldn't eat. So when I got here in Bumu Community Center, they started to teach me and to encourage me and to advise me in different ways of how I can take care of my kid and which kind of foods, which kind of meals that I can give him so that he can live and so that he can eat, because he cannot live without eating. So they taught me how to make soft foods like porridge, because those are the kind of foods the babies do eat. So slowly things are working, so I would like to thank them. We really appreciate what they do for our kids and how they do teach us also to take care of them when they are at home and when they are even doing this video therapy and kinotherapy to our kids. It really shows that they really love our kids and we really love them too.
Ndabashimira cyane, abana bacu barabakunda pe.
These parents do say it in this way, for a kid or for an adult person to be well. People who live with them in their community or their parents in their families, they have to consider them. We live with them for a long time. So this would depend on the purpose that we do have in our minds as we're doing what we're doing. So whenever someone comes to you and you receive him or her, so you have to ask yourself, what does he need? What can I help him? What can I do for him? And this would help you also to deliver the service that you're going to deliver to him according to any needs that he has. This is not something that you can do alone, something that you have to do with the community, the families, and also people around. So you all come together and do all the analysis and say what can we do for this kid in order to be where the parents or where we really need him to be. There are different reasons, but you have when you people come together and you focus on any kind of reason that may be positive or negative, but always we focus on positivity. So we have to come up with solutions for different reasons that these kids do have in order for them to have a better future. So all these people who do come to us, we always have something to help them. We always have something to do together with communities, together with parents, and together with neighbors. We've recognized that there are different parents who do give birth to children with disabilities and they keep them in their houses. They lock them into their houses. They don't want them to come out. They hide them. This is against their rights. I'd like to advise these parents who do this kind of thing, which is horrible. This is not good. You are a parent, even though you gave birth to a child that has disabilities, but you're still a parent and you didn't know that he was going to be born in that way. So you have to take care of him or her. You have to exercise all your responsibilities that you should be doing as a parent, because this is about God. It's not about you. It's not about this kid. It's not about the wife, like do some people do leave it for the wives to take care of them, which is really not good. I would like to advise this kind of men who do this. It's not a problem of anyone. It's about God. So let's take care of our kids, whatever. So when you take care of them, when you love them, when you show them love, they also recognize that and they become hopeful and can bring a huge change in their lives. For example, like my son, when I come back home, his mother talks to me and tells me that he can go for the whole day without speaking, without even smiling, without laughing, but whenever I come in the house, when he sees me, he starts to laugh, he starts to smile. So I hug him and I love him. I show him this kind of love of parents, and it's really good. It's really important. What I can tell people who are watching, or people who have children like these ones with disabilities, they don't have to keep them in the houses or to lock them within the rooms. They have to show them love. They have to love them. They have to bring them out where other kids are. They have to expose them on the sunshine. They have to listen to them whenever they are hungry, whenever they need something to drink. So they have to take care of them in order for them to have a healthy life. There are other people who do have these kind of habits to lock their kids into their rooms, but they have to bring them outside. For instance, one of my friends had a kid who had the same issues, so I told him to bring him over to this center, but he didn't do that. So I don't know what exactly is the problem, but we should take care of our kids however much they may have disabilities. So this is the right time for all of us to understand that to have any disabilities doesn't mean that you cannot do anything. They're normal and they are able. So there are different artworks that you will see all around, and people will tell you that this artwork was made by people with disabilities. There are people who are ignorant. So when they give birth to their kids, and they just do all that they do, but they're not able to recognize that this kid has or a mental problem or a mental illness or any kind of disabilities, because they are not professional in that. Other people are not aware of any disabilities their kids can have or can be born with. So we do take them, we do consider both of them, but also there are other people who can recognize, who can remark that my son or my daughter has any kind of disabilities, but I have no time for that because he cannot change, so we can just hide him somewhere and we wait for his last day. All these kind of people are in our communities and with different views, but we would like to tell this one who would know it or who recognize it and doesn't have time for this. We would like to advise them and tell them that it's not a problem of the son, of the kid, of the parent, and disability is not inability. Doesn't mean that life has ended from there. No, there are so many things that they can do, and even their lives can change. Yeah, so and that one we would like to advise also that one who knows nothing about any disabilities that can occur to any kid. It's much better to take him at the hospital or at any healthy center that is around the community. It's good, and would like to thank you all who follow Ubumi Community Center TV. You can take your time and subscribe, so that's your contribution in order for this message to get quite far all around the world. Thank you so much.